Hi guys, my name is Lucas, and today I want to show you how you can turn this into this. Okay, so now we're going to look into how I beefed up the sound and made it extra thick. If you see here, I have two patchers. The Serum is linked to the mixer channel, and it's named Wubs. I have two patchers here. The first one, if I go into it, is just a mid-side EQ. If you don't know how to set this up, there is a preset. So if you just click this little arrow here and go to presets, you'll see that there's a mid-side EQ preset. And I always like to go in and just cut the lows out. In this particular sound, there was two peaks on the sides right here in the lower mids that I didn't like, so I did duck those frequencies out. And I'll leave the mid somewhat normal and create a little dip wherever I hear a frequency that's kind of annoying me. But other than that, it's pretty simple. I could do further EQ if it's needed. And on the second patcher, if you open this up, I made this chain, and if you don't know how to set this one up either, I'm just going to show how I did this. So if you go into presets, you can see that there's a frequency splitter presets, stuff like that. I think I used this 2-band splitter. So if I try to make this from scratch really quick, so I just open up a patcher and I go to presets. I'm going to do 2-band splitter, and you already see it splits up between the low frequencies and the high. So if you open this up, you could see what the two bands look like in the frequency splitter. So in this case, I only want to split up the sub frequencies, so I could just drag this all the way down about here. And now this is when I would just detach these strands, and I could just start adding plugins. So in this case, I went with an OTT, and I'm just gonna have the lows go straight into that. And I'm just gonna go again, and I'm gonna add 2 more of these. So added 2 more OTTs, and I'll just connect the chain. It's gonna be the orange dot, and you're just gonna connect those. And after that, I like to top it off with a camel crusher. So let's grab that really quick. Same thing, just connect them. And then you could connect this also to another plugin, or you can connect this straight out to FL Studio. Now that's only our low band, so we want to make sure we have our highs too. So I want to add first, I'm going to do a disperser. So some of you guys might not have this, but it's okay because it'll still sound good with just the OTTs. But this step with splitting the frequency bands might not be necessary for you in this case. So, but if you do have disperser, then cool. Just find a good spot. I usually do somewhere around here, and we can turn up the amount all the way and have the pinch somewhere right there. And then we'll just do the highs are going to go into the disperser, and then it's going to go into the OTTs and camel crusher. Now for the OTTs, I'm just going to set the time all the way to 1000 and the depth to 50. This seems to be a good sweet spot for me. You can test out where it sounds good for you, but that seems to be the good spot for me. So I'm just going to go and set those around 50. And for the camel crusher, it's going to be defaulted on this preset. All I'm going to do is drag the amount to 50%. And so yeah, so that's how it would look when I make it. And then you could go ahead and, let's say if you just had this patcher on there, the 2 patchers that I showed, then you could just right click where the insert that it's on and do save mixer track state as. If you didn't have the disperser, then you wouldn't need to frequency split. If you didn't want to, you could just add 3 OTTs through here, and then you could just go to file and save mixer track state as. And after that, it will ask you to choose a name for that. It'll just name it and put it down here. I already have some that were defaults with FL Studio, and then there's a couple ones that I made myself. So that's going to be basically it. Nothing too complicated. Definitely with my basses, I like to add a lot of compression, so OTT helps, and some distortion, which is the camel crusher. And the disperser adds just a cool metallic effect on top, I think. And so it's definitely worth checking out, seeing if you want to get it. And also, if you wanted, you could just make the sub have its own processing entirely. Like if you didn't want all these OTTs on it and you just wanted to add a little bit of distortion to your sub, then you could just do, let's say, Camel Crusher, for example, Then you could just route it into a camel crusher and have these highs go through the OTTs. And you could have this camel crusher just go straight out to FL Studio, so low band just goes into here. We should probably turn down the amount though, and then it will just go straight out. And camel crusher does have compression on, so you could decide if you want to have that on or off. So you could have a cleaner sub but more compressed highs if you wanted, and you could add even more effects if you wanted something crazy on like your highs or something like that. Like even if you wanted to add like a really tiny reverb on your highs, you know, or maybe you could split it into like 3 bands instead and put a tiny bit of reverb on the highest band. Just experiment. I definitely encourage a lot of experimentation. But yeah, that's gonna be all. I just wanted to show you how I do most of the processing for my basses. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.